This is William Simmons from Wall Street News. I am reporting to you from America. Today I will be telling you about what is happening on the home front. Women had to give up steel justice to help out the war. There were meatless Mondays, wheatless Tuesdays, propaganda posters, and daylight savings time. There were also excess profits and higher income taxes on wealthier citizens. This photo shows how the U.S. Army is trying to recruit more people and how them join their army to fight the war. If America did not go into World War I, we would, as a country, have looked like a weak country. They gave warnings saying if you take down one more boat, we will declare war. They took down a boat, and that's when the war started. If they would have not blown any ships up, there wouldn't be a war, and America gave them a chance, and they didn't take it. Now to Jacob Rosen.
Hello, I'm Jacob Rosen, and I'm at the battlefront in England. The Great War started when the Archduke Franz Ferdinand got assassinated by a Serbian nationalist. After that, the war kicked off between Serbia and Austria. The causes of World War I were militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. The war expanded between countries because of these reasons. Militarism is a belief that a country should maintain or build a strong military and use it aggressively. Alliances are agreements between two or more countries to fight against another country or another alliance. Imperialism is expanding a country's power and using their military force to make an influence. Finally, a nationalist is a person that loves their country or will do anything for it. The most influential countries in the war were the Ottoman Empire, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Bulgaria. There are two main sides to the war. Are the Central Powers and the major Allied powers. The Central Powers were Ottoman Empire, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Bulgaria. The major Allied powers included England, Russia, France, Belgium, and Serbia, who sparked the war. The war is very complicated on how the other countries got involved with the war. The reasons why the U.S. got involved with the war were the pro-British feelings were one of the main reasons. America had a history of beneficial immigrants from England, as well as a friendship with France. The news coming to the Americans was also pro-British as well. Also, the Allies of America owed over $32 billion to U.S. banks, so if they lost the war, the U.S. would never get their money repaid. So the U.S. had to take action with their powerful army. German U-boat warfare was also a big reason why the U.S. entered the war. The sinking of the Lusitania and the Sussex were the main ships that were sunk by Germans. Germans warned that they would sink any ship. The Zimmermann Telegraph was the last main reason the U.S. entered the war. The Zimmermann Telegraph is a German intercepted coded message. The British intelligence agency intercepted the message in January of 1917. The telegraph was sent from Germany to German embassy in Mexico. It said that the Germans didn't want the U.S. to enter the war. The message was given to U.S. newspapers, and the U.S. entered the war in April of 1917. I think the most important reason for the U.S. joining the war is that the allies of the U.S. owed more than $32 billion to U.S. banks. I think it's the most important reason because the U.S. was a growing country and they needed $32 billion to continue expanding their military, cities, and more. Now to Sean Dawson, Germany.
Hey guys, I'm reporting live from the trenches and right at the war scene in Germany. Fighting has gotten more advanced with the guns and techniques to kill people like machine guns and poison gas, but that does not stop the fighting there. They keep on going no matter how bad the consequences are, and new machines are still being made bigger and better, like tanks. But Germany was just dominating the war. But Russia and England were not doing too bad in the war. The thing that gave Germany a really big advantage is the machines they had and how they used them. It was September 13th. General Joseph had been responsible for the loss of the French disaster in August, but now leading the French to victory. British died due to lack of food and died trying to fight the Germans, but mainly died of diseases that were going around. The disease had a better chance of killing the people, killing soldiers than the bullet could. For the soldiers, trenches were like their home and their battlefield. It was very boring for them, but they had a lot of free time between wars. They made a bomb out of canned jam, and the big problem in the trenches were there were lice, ticks, and rats. And it was very easy to get trench foot, and that made your foot look disgusting. Very effective weapons were the flamethrower and the submarines. Because of the submarines, it was like a sneak attack because they could get you like right behind the back. And machine guns, you were able to move that anywhere, and it was unlimited around. The poison gas was great because in 5 minutes, it could release up to 1 mile of gas. Now to the tank. That thing is a beast. It can shoot missiles as far as you can think. And it is bulletproof. That's really good. With one torch from this flamethrower, it can set your pants on fire. The style of fighting is very effective depending on how good you beat the enemy, because it can lead to a lot of things. It could gain you new land or give you world power. Also, other countries could be scared of you and not want to fight you anymore. This picture right here, the photo shows of how the trenches were and how deep they could be with all the mud, and they were wearing gas masks to prevent the poison gas from coming in their mouth and killing them, and how trenches were used for the war, and the trenches helped because if they were being shot at, they could easily duck down and use the dirt wall as cover. Now to JP.
Hello folks, I'm JP reporting from Versailles, France, and today I'll be talking about how World War I came to an end. In 1918, Germany signed an agreement for peace and no more fighting. In the beginning of 1918, Germany was in a good position and expected to win World War I. Russia had the most amount of deaths, and the US had about 125,000 deaths. World War I ended on the 11th day of the 11th month in 1918. There was about 40 million people at the beginning of the war. But at the end, there was 20 million deaths, 21 million injuries. Now on to William Sims.
For 2 years, Wilson repeatedly warned the Germans against the policy of unrestricted submarine warfare, which he considered a violation of international law and pretext to a break in diplomatic relations. Germany made the decision for reasons dealing with internal politics in January 1917 to go to unrestricted submarine warfare in defiance of threats, says historian Ross Kennedy, a professor at Illinois State University and author of The Will to Believe, Woodrow Wilson World War an American Strategy for Peace and Security. Wilson had no choice but to break relations, or he would have lost diplomatic credibility. Thank you for watching. See you next time on Wall Street News.